Such sweet... Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and what we're talking about is Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2 of Star Trek Discovery. Now, when we left last time, we knew that they were being surrounded by Section 31 ships, and that they were going to have to get the time suit hurried up and built so that Burnham could get in it and go to the future and bring Discovery with her. As you might expect, there were some holes in that plan, and it was seen not only by Burnham, but also by Reno at the time that she's left in engineering by herself as they're charging the crystal. So here we have the beginnings of a rather busy episode. In this, we had the expected starfight, which we had seen in the previews for this episode. They had, I think, a count on the number of ships that they had deployed, some 200 shuttles and battle bots or whatever they had, and sent that out with various crews from both Enterprise and Discovery. And also a matching group of ships from Section 31. And so there was a lot of space battle. I have to say that some of it looked a little cheesy. Some of it was impressive because to do that many elements in a single shot is something that hasn't been done on television before. However, it did have a little bit of cheese to it at times. I think perhaps they overreached a little bit with their special effects, although in many places they were done very well. There were some predictable elements in it. We knew that from the time that the Admiral went to the part of the ship where the torpedo had landed, that it would not be successful. It would just be too easy for them to say, okay, we've defused the torpedo, nothing big here. But as Burnham's vision went on, where she saw all of the people on the bridge of Discovery dying, this didn't happen. And Spock says in the course of the episode that what the crystal showed her was a possible future, not the definite one. And so this brings into question a little bit of what Pike saw about his future. Now, we know from canon what happened to Pike, but this gives a little bit of wiggle room that maybe it doesn't happen the same way again. Maybe there is some room to change this if they feel like it. And the more I think about it, the more that I think that we will see a Pike and Number One and Spock spinoff. They once again spent a lot of time using newly built sets for the Enterprise, and I think that if they're not going to play a role in something else, it would be a great waste of some very good design there. Some surprises in this, also things that could have been predicted. We knew that Ash had gone off. He said, I've got to leave, but I'll be back. And we knew that he was going to come back with the Klingons. And he came back not only with a Klingon ship, but a whole fleet of Klingon ships and the Chancellor. And good Easter eggs in there. It's a good day to die. This is something that was mentioned first in Deep Space Nine as a battle cry for the Klingons when they go into battle. It is a good day to die. Also, we have Saru's sister, who comes in a Kaminar ship in which she and other Kelpians are joining the battle. And we get the first impression of why all the signals happened. And it was Spock that figures this out and explains it to Michael so that she can go and assemble all that they need in order to keep this future that she saw from happening complete to its end. Some suggestion that this has been a time loop, that perhaps this has been tried before and didn't work before, and so it's been learned one way or the other that this has to happen. So we don't see all the loops in the time, but we do see when she goes to each of the places and sends the signals, which brings Discovery to places in which they get elements that they need, which include Jet Reno, which include the Klingon planet with the time crystals, which include the Terralesium planet, and all the others, and all of that is explained. It's all neatly tied up, even down to the point to where we know now how it ties in with canon, and how all of this could not have happened. We were thinking perhaps a time travel anomaly that would cause all this to never have happened, but it was handled somewhat similarly to the Mirror Universe. This is just something that nobody's going to say. Instead of an official Starfleet regulation saying that no one will talk about this, it was an agreement between the participants in the battle that no one would talk about it. And a thing of interest to us is that they don't show the entire face of the interrogator who talks to Spock and Pike and Number One and Saru and others. And it's as if they were going to make some kind of reveal as to who the interrogator was, and they didn't. So I suspect that this is something that we're going to see in the next season, perhaps. So we know that Spock wasn't going to make it because he had to be on Enterprise with Pike. They had a believable way in which he wasn't able to be there. We have not taken the Queen. She was in one of the fighters and was able to figure out an interesting way on how to better fight the Section 31 Armada. And so we know who's going into the future Discovery. Obviously, Tilly, who's shown herself as a capable maintenance engineer, will have Stamets and Culber and Reno and Saru, of course, along with all of the regular bridge crew. Cornwall seems to have met her end. We have Leland has met his end. We have an interesting thing happening with Giorgio, who has gone with Discovery rather than staying back in the 23rd century. Ash, which we could almost have predicted, has become the new head of Section 31. And with a lot of ends tied and a few left flapping in the breeze, we have some things to speculate on as we consider Season 3 of Discovery. So we'll be talking about that in future videos to try and do some better analysis of the last couple of episodes of Discovery and see if we can't make some good predictions about what's going to happen in the future as depicted in Season 3. Is Saru going to continue to be the captain? That's a minor question. Is the world they're going to find ahead, or are they going to try to get back to our existence? I kind of doubt it. And if not, what is going to be their mission once they get there? And how is it going to tie in with the short trek, which really was not addressed in this episode of Calypso. So I think there's still some things to be revealed in Season 3. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger as I was afraid it would. Special effects were good. The ship explosions were entertaining. Everybody had something good to do. We see a closure with Stamets and Culber, also from Reno. So we can get an idea of what Discovery is going to be about in what would seem to be canon tied up kind of neatly. So with that first impression, I'd like to know what you think, and we will take what you've contributed and whatever I can think of, and we'll do another video perhaps next week in which we can put some more thought to what's happened here and where it's going to take us. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I hope that you do, and hope that you'll continue to follow us as we look for other things to review. We'll probably be talking about The Expanse as it comes back. We'll also be talking about Lost in Space as it comes back. We, of course, have The Orville next week, which is going to have its big finale. Until then, don't go far.